السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Alhamdulillah ala ni'mati al-Islam. Alhamdulillah alladhi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. Praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who guided us to this way of life, al-Islam. And we were not to be guided if it were not for his guidance. Falhamdulillah. ثم الحمد لله. Today is the 24th of December. Tomorrow is the 25th of December. And we are living in a society where our children get a vacation during this time. And many of them probably ponder why these vacations are around these religious celebrations. What does it mean, Christmas? What is Christmas? What is the birthday of Jesus? Who is Jesus? And 1/3 of the world that are calling themselves Christians, following of Jesus, they call themselves Jesus and they celebrate this holiday. What I would like to do today, in these few minutes that we have, I would like to share with you some aspects that are related to us, especially us people who are living in a society that is predominantly is a Christian society. Many of our children see so many demonstrations of this holiday around them, and some of them don't have answers to what's going on. Some of them are fascinated. Some of them may come to the father or the mother and say, why don't we have a tree like they have a tree? Why don't we receive gifts like they receive gifts from so-called Santa Claus? Why and why and why? And that's because it's natural. We are living in a culture where these holidays are being commercialized and taken advantage of. Some Christians themselves actually complain of that their holidays are no more a spiritual holidays, they become a commercial holidays. It became cultural rather than religious. So what are some of the aspects that I really would like to draw your attention to them, and hopefully all of us as parents, grandparents, we find a way how to talk to our children about these things, how we take advantage of this environment to teach them proper aqidah, to teach them proper tawheed, to teach them proper understanding of who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isa alayhi salam and his mother are mentioned in the Quran how many times? I don't know whether you have asked yourself these questions. Maybe you should ask your children this question. Isa alayhi salam is mentioned many times, and his mother is mentioned in the Quran many times. About 36 times Isa is mentioned either by the name Isa alayhi salam or the word Al-Masih. Most of the time when Isa alayhi salam is mentioned is in connection with his mother, Isa ibn Maryam. Therefore, Maryam alayhi salam is mentioned also many, many times, like 34 times in the Quran. When we visit and when we study some of what historians, Christian historians, talk about Isa alayhi salam and trace the information and the facts of history, some of them are even denying the existence of someone called Jesus in history. And that is because of lack of evidence, historical evidence, that is coming from that era, from that period of time, that really convince these historians that there was someone called Jesus truly, and this is what he has done. And because of that confusion, and because of that lack of history about this important man and this important woman, and because of the lost history and the history that has been altered about this important person, this important Nabi, Isa alayhi salam, and his mother, and what happened around them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down the last revelation to say the last word about this important man and this important woman. So now we understand the importance of the Quran, to state facts when facts are being lost, to straighten the records when the records are becoming ambiguous. So we find the Quran stating that very clearly, in many, many places. And I would like us to learn that, so hopefully we can have a factual communication with our children, teaching them the proper position of Isa alayhi salam and his mother in the Quran and in our deen al-Islam. Fact number one. Fact number one is that it is one of the elements of faith for us Muslims is to believe in the messengers. And Isa is one of the mighty messengers. He is one of ulul azmi min ar-rusul. One of the mighty messengers. The most important 5 messengers, Isa is one of them. Alayhi salam. So that's fact number one. And that is enough to motivate us that we talk and tell the entire story of Isa alayhi salam and his mother to our children and make sure they learn it the right way. Number 2, why they should learn it the right way? Because they are living in an environment where the story is told differently. Where the story is told differently. And they hear from their friends, their neighbors, their classmates. They hear from them a different story. So we would like our children to know the real story as mentioned in the Quran, as taught by Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, because it is the true story. So that's fact number 2. Fact number 3 is that Isa alayhi salam and his mother is a very interesting story, especially for those who are really interested in ways of education. How Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that story. Very, very interesting story. A story that actually provoked the thinking of the abd, of the servant, of the human being. Because the human being sees around him things in a certain way. Everyone is born from a father and a mother. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to show us one of his miracles, that yes, Allah is in control and he is the one who can do whatever he wants. And part of what he did, yes, there is a child called Isa alayhi salam who is born from a mother but without a father. And when people could not take it and they start attributing all kinds of things to this miracle, to the extent that they said he is the son of God, وَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ عَنْ ذَلِكَ عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا, may Allah be exalted from all that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, no, that's not the proper explanation. The proper explanation is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is easy. إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. This is the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to teach us. And this is the fact that we would like to teach to our children. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything is simple, is easy. As simple as بين الكاف والنون, 2 letters. Kun, fi'al amr, it's some command, it's an order. That's all what it takes for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to say kun, and it is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us an example to illustrate to us human beings who don't understand that level. He said, why you are being amazed? He told those people who were amazed about the birth of Isa alayhi salam, he said, why you are amazed that Isa is born without a father? You should be more amazed that Adam alayhi salam is born from no father and no mother. إن مثل عيسى عند الله كمثل آدم خلقه من تراب ثم قال له كن فيكون. The parable of Isa alayhi salam is just like Adam. Isa is born without a father, but Adam was born without a father or mother. It is just a matter of kun fayakun. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the entire story of Isa alayhi salam in details that you don't even find them in the Christian books. And that is to set the record clear. Because Al-Quran is meant to be the last message for all humanity. Therefore, anyone, historian or otherwise, if he or she is looking for the truth, they have to look no further than the Quran. Because the Quran set the record very clear. So what did the Quran say about the birth of Isa alayhi salam? In details. He did not only talk to us about Isa alayhi salam, he talked to us about his mother. Not only about his mother, about his grandmother. Not only about his grandmother, about the guardian, the one who took care of her, of his mother. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Ali Imran, إذ قالت امرأة عمران رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. This is the mother of Maryam before Maryam was born. When her mother was pregnant, she wished to have a boy. And why she wished to have a boy? Because she would like to dedicate that boy to the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the temple. That used to be the tradition. This is a family of religion. This is a family that is descendant from Harun alayhi salam. And they keep that tradition to make sure that some of their children are going to be in the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they work in the temple. So she wished that when she was pregnant. But when she delivered the baby, the baby was a girl and it was not a boy. فلما وضعتها قالت رب إني وضعتها أنثى وليس الذكر كالأنثى وإني سميتها مريم وإني أعيذها بك وذريتها من الشيطان الرجيم. She said, Ya Allah, she's a girl and the girl is not like a boy, the boy is not like a girl. However, I seek refuge that the shaitan will be hurting her or her progeny. So therefore, she is protected and her progeny is protected from a shaitan rajim. That is the dua of a mother who would like to have righteous children. And then the story continues. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us what happened with Maryam then after that. Now Maryam is being raised in a religious household and there is someone who is going to take care of her. And that is the husband of her aunt, Zakaria alayhi salam. So Zakaria alayhi salam took charge of Maryam and then he was raising her as a child. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us the story of how Zakaria alayhi salam was amazed when he comes to Maryam and he would find with her as a child miracles. He would find with her the food of winter in the summer, the food of the summer in winter. Miracles. And he would say, يا مريم أنى لك هذا؟ قالت هو من عند الله إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. This is from Allah. See, as a child, and look to her maturity, look to her to high spirituality. She knows that. And from there, Zakaria alayhi salam wished to have a boy. He was wishing to have a boy for a long time, but then he was even more motivated. And he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him righteous children. هنالك دعا زكريا ربه قال ربي هب لي من لدنك ذرية طيبة إنك سميع الدعاء. And then the story of Zakaria alayhi salam and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a child, Yahya, and so on and so forth. And then the story comes back to Maryam. When Maryam now is of an age where she will be able to have a child. Right? And that is in Surah Ali Imran as well as in Surah Maryam. This surah, this great surah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala entitled the surah Maryam, because the story of Maryam is very unique over there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about Maryam in details that you would not find them, maybe you would not find them in this way in Christian books. Very clear. And although the story of Maryam is being set in many chapters of the Quran, but no place contradicts another. Very consistent. Because the source of the story is one. But when the story of Isa alayhi salam and the story of Maryam is being said in many of the books, of other books, then you would find contradictions because it's coming from different sources. So the point over here is it is important. But why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us all these details about this important story? Why all this? Is it for history? Is it for entertainment? It is for what? It is for Tawheed. That is the purpose. The purpose is to make it very clear to all humanity, particularly to those who claim they are the true followers of Jesus alayhi salam, to tell them the point is not these details. Allah is saying these details just to tell you the one who is behind all this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the only one who should be worshipped. And that's exactly what Jesus alayhi salam taught. Because Jesus alayhi salam, after all these miracles, and he talked in the cradle as a baby, and what he said when he was in the cradle and when he was as a baby, he said, ذلك عيسى بن مريم قول الحق الذي فيه يمترون ما كان لله أن يتخذ من ولد سبحانه إذا قضى أمرا فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commenting on Isa alayhi salam and his story. Then he said what Isa said, وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبَّكُمْ وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبُّكُمْ فَاعْبُدُوهُ هَذَا صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمٌ. This is what Isa have said repeatedly in many places as reported in the Quran. Allah is my Lord and your Lord, therefore worship him. This is what Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam has never said that I am the son of God. If the word father as mentioned in some of the Christian books, it means respect and reverence. It doesn't mean the real father, the physical father, not at all. So from that perspective, we need to learn this, so then we will be able to communicate properly to our children. And if we have friends, if we have people who are interested and would like to engage in that kind of dialogue, then at least we know how the story of Isa alayhi salam and Maryam alayhi salam are being mentioned in the Quran. The last point I would like to mention over here before the end of today's commentary on this beautiful story. In Surah Al-Ma'idah, there is these few verses where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the story of Isa alayhi salam, but not in this dunya, in the hereafter. يَوْمَ يَجْمَعُ اللَّهُ الرُّسُلِ. When Allah gathered the messengers and asked them, مَاذَا أُجِبْتُمْ? How you were being answered and responded to by your congregation, by your followers, by the people you were teaching. How? It is a very interesting story. Go Surah Al-Ma'idah towards the end, the last 2 or 3 pages, and you will find a very interesting story. What is so interesting about it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after gathering the messengers and asked them, then he asks specifically Isa alayhi salam. And he asks him and tell him, إِذْ قَالَ اللَّهُ يَا عِيسَى أَأَنْتَ قُلْتَ لِلنَّاسِ اتَّخِذُونِي وَأُمِّيَ إِلَهَيْنِ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ قَالَ سُبْحَانَكَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Isa alayhi salam, did you tell the people to take you and your mother as gods or God instead of Allah? You see, very clear to those who worship Jesus as a son of God, to believe Jesus is a son of God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us of what's going to happen, and he put it in the past tense, بالفعل الماضي. What does that mean? That means for sure it's going to happen exactly as it is being stated. And Isa alayhi salam will say, قال سبحانك ما قلت لهم إلا ما أمرتني به. I told them only what you commanded me to tell them. إن كنت قلته فقد علمته. تعلم ما في نفسي ولا أعلم ما في نفسك إنك أنت علام الغيوب. If I said to them something different, then you would know it. You know what is in me, I don't know what is in you. You see, it's a very interesting dialogue. And it's good for us as Muslims to know, because it will affirm our aqidah, our tawheed, and it will affirm our belief in Jesus alayhi salam, that he is a mighty messenger. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina wa habibina Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. So as we say this, my dear brothers and sisters, it's not to disrespect. No, we respect choices of other people. We differ with them. We have differences with them in terms of our understanding of faith, in terms of practicing our faith. However, yes, we respect them. That's what our deen teaches us, to respect others, because it's their choice. They are the ones who are going to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are the ones who are going to be judged. But why we are saying this? It's just to educate ourselves about our own deen. It's not to put other people down or anything like that. No, it is to teach ourselves, to protect ourselves, to protect our aqidah, our basics of belief, and to make sure that our children stick to their identity and learn their firm belief. That's all. So what do we conclude from all this? There are few points that I would like us, inshallah, to get from this and hopefully keep them in mind. Number one is to make sure matters of aqidah, matters of belief are very important. This is the foundation, and we need to learn our foundation. And one of them is to believe in messengers. And Isa alayhi salam is one of them. Number two, the position of Isa alayhi salam in our deen, in the Quran, as well as in the Sunnah. Number three, the Quran is the reference, is the reference, the firm reference when it comes to all these matters. Number four, we have to learn proper teaching of our Quran, proper teaching of our deen, therefore to protect ourselves from any kind of deviation. We would like also, because of this, is to make sure that our own holidays are not going to be hijacked and become commercial holidays for business and for culture and for illustration of other things, but our holidays are meant to be celebrating spirituality. Therefore, we celebrate our holidays the way we are taught by our dear messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We take Quran and the Sunnah as our reference. Therefore, we always refer to them, especially in this time when things are becoming vulnerable, when matters of deen are becoming vulnerable, for people to talk about them, whether they know or they don't know, and anybody has a say in all what's going on. So we'd like to make sure that our marji'iyya, our reference, is very, very clear. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا هداة مهتدين اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. آمين ثم آمين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي، يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم واستغفروه يغفر لكم، فيا فوز المستغفرين. وأقم الصلاة.